Hello, Runerigus here video. Today we're going to take a look at a double Runerigus, Kaiwei team here. It's also the team that I basically showcased already in the top teams video, but they forgot to also copy the movesets again as well. As I said in the video, you kind of need either the charm version of the Slurpuff or any other charmer in the lead, or you need the Variant plus player version here. They didn't do this, so they're going to most likely have some problems against dark types, as we're most likely going to see in this video. What you would want to run on the Slurpuff otherwise, if you want to run the Variant plus player off, you definitely want to run also the Energy Ball. Because your Slurpuff kinda is also your water type answer for the Runerigus in the back, which definitely doesn't want to face something like the Swampert. Here he threw a little bit too late because he underestimated the energy of the opponent, which is definitely okay, happens to everybody. Let's see what they can still do here. We can see that they go into the Crowbit and they can catch the move here, the Poison Fang. You would be able to outspeed it, but like this looks horrible for them. They see a Dugong here and they basically get hardwalled. But yeah, I think you don't have a chance anymore. At least I don't see how you want to win this. Definitely also not really with the Slurpuff, and yeah, they're going to go down here. First game going to be a loss, but yeah, in general, if you want to run this team, and I think this team is pretty decent, you should try to go for the Energy Ball Fairy Wind and Playrough version, or the Flamethrower Energy Ball and Charm version of the Slurpuff if you have one, or use an A9. An A9 should be also still fine. Depends on really what you want to do. We see here a Venusaur, which would be actually a hard wall for it if you don't have the Flamethrower, so I guess here it's fine. But of course you also still have the Kaiwei in the back, which is going to be able to deal enough damage to KO this Venusaur. Now, especially when the shields are down, you're going to shield this move up as well, most likely. You're not? Okay. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. You're gonna still survive it. You're gonna get pretty low, but you can go for one. Finishing Shadow Ball here, which will do enough damage to KO this thing, as we see a Trevenant coming in, and you can go into your Runerigus, which doesn't want to face this thing at all, but the opponent catches a move here on the Swampert. The opponent also has a lot of energy now on the Trevenant. You can farm this thing down here. You kind of want to catch most likely as well, as they have 2 Seed Bombs soon. And they go for a Shadow Ball though, that's kind of nice. You can go for your own Shadow Ball and you're going to be able to win the game. This Pokemon looks, by the way, so cool. I hope that I get a good one when we have the Halloween event again, because I really want a good one. And we see here the next opponent going to have the Medicham in the lead. Going to be one of the best Pokemon to deal with this team. I kind of would swap out, if I was you in this scenario already, into your Sazor, which is most likely, at least for me, the Kaiwei, because people are not really prepared for, like, in general, that you kind of want to get the other Pokemon into the spotlight, the Runerigus here. So like here you kind of just risk getting farmed down. You cannot farm down the opponent. Here you should go immediately into your Runerigus, because this is the better matchup. Yeah, Runerigus is way better here as well, because you're going to double resist the fast move and in general the poison type moves of this Pokemon. So Runerigus is also a hard wall for the Nidoqueen. So you should have went into this instead of the Kaiwei. This is not the worst play, but the other play would have been better. And we see the Earth Power coming through. In general, if you see the Medicham in the lead there, why not swap out? You have 2 Shadow Claw users, you have 2 Ghost types in the back, you have an ABB line, and now, as you can see here, you have you have to play against this Grafty without having your Fairy type anymore. And also, you shouldn't go for the Dark Pulse, because Dark Pulse is double resisted, while the Shadow Ball is single resisted and stab. So, yeah. This kinda sucks, as you can still farm down this Medicham, but general speaking there, if you see like a fighting type in the lead, you can swap out immediately. You have an ABB line, you kind of want to bait out this potential dark type that's in the back, as you can see here. And yeah, like you definitely kind of want to do this. And also against, of course, the Nidoqueen, the Runerigus should be a little bit better, especially with the Sand Tomb. You can most likely just farm it down. You're still going to be able to win this game here, as it looks like, as you can now farm this thing down with the Kaiwei. You should win for the charge move maybe as well, but it is fine, as we see Skarmory, and now you swap out, because, I mean, now you would have had the Flamethrower. You could have stayed in for a little bit, but I guess it's fine. You're going to get out the Azumarill, which is actually a pretty decent matchup for you. You're going to be able to win this matchup in the long run. especially if you throw the moves perfectly, you're going to be able to survive something like the Ice Beam. This will be most likely a play rough. That's 6. That is a play rough, and you're going to be able to now go still for 1 Shadow Ball here, which is going to KO the opponent. You do so much damage with your fast move already. They're actually going to shield this up. You might be able to actually swap into the Slurpuff. I think this is a fine play. You can just take the move here, and I hope you can farm it down, and you can farm it down, which is amazing for you. Now you have the Flamethrower still for the Skarmory. You might even be able to get to the next Flamethrower in time. Most likely not, actually. Never mind, the opponent lets you at least. And you're going to be able to KO the Skarmory as well, which is going to be very nice for you, as we see the Bastion in the back. And this is actually also the cool thing about Runerigus. You didn't get the move off there because of lag. I at least looked at least like it. So, but here for the Runerigus, you have the resistance now to the rock type moves thanks to the ground typing, and also you have the Sand Tomb to debuff the opponent and do double super effective damage here. Also stab, and the Bastion just doesn't appreciate this whatsoever. It doesn't want to get hit by this, and we see here this thing goes down. You can go for 1 Shadow Ball, completely destroying this little wall face here, as you're going to be able to win the game. Next up, Slurpuff against Swampert. Definitely stay in here. You can go for Energy Ball. You can no-shield the first move as well, unless it's an Earthquake, of course, or Sludge Wave. But the first move usually would be fine for you. Get the defense drop, that's pretty decent for you. As you're going to shield the Hydro Cannon, totally fine. If they go for another Hydro Cannon, you would be able to survive it at least. And you're going to no-shield here. This is also a good, okay-ish move. It's kind of risky though, because if they have something like the... Oh, it's actually pretty decent. Again, you could have went into your Runerigus, which would be a little bit better. But yeah, if they have something like a Dark type in the back, you need your Fairy type still, of course. But yeah, here you should have went in the Runerigus. Runerigus would have had access to the Sand Tomb, and you would have been able to farm it down a little bit easier. Especially because you don't really want the Runerigus against the Altaria, then the Kofagrigus is a little bit better. And you also didn't really want to have the Runerigus against the Swampert, which is still in the back. So you should try to not always swap. Oh, very nice catch, by the way, here. But you should not always try to swap into your Kofagrigus. You have to a little bit think about maybe the Runerigus might be better in some certain scenarios. You go straight for the Shadow Ball here. I kind of disagree with this play because you still have the Swampert in the back, and this will most likely be a loss. You needed to kind of farm down the Altaria to still have a play here. So there are a lot of things that you can still improve from your gameplay here. Again, I think this team is actually amazing. Like, I think this team should be one of the best teams that you can run. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Kofagrigus, Runerigus teams in regionals, or like instead of the Kofagrigus, you most likely see something like the Sableye in regionals. But I think this team is really, really good, and I think, yeah, you have to change the moveset of the first Pokemon, and of course there are some also slight misplays that you do as well in those battles. But this is like the thing for me about those videos, shoutcasting those battles from other people. I kind of also want to give them some feedback also for some other viewers who don't really, maybe not in the highest rank all the time. They would also maybe appreciate some tips, and here definitely that's not always how you play the team, at least. You can try to farm down this thing, but you have to you kind of need to invest a shield here. I think it's a return. Yeah, does a lot of damage, and now you can still farm it down. You just basically hope that, ouch, double resisted, that they have something in the back that you can beat with the Runerigus here. You have to shield the incoming move here now. They actually don't go for the move. This is very lucky for you. If they went for the move here, you would have needed to shield, and you can now go against this Bastion, and you should be able to still win this game. Yeah, if they did go for that charge move, they would have won this game. Definitely, and now they quit this game, so kind of poor. But yeah, this is kind of awkward. Here again, wrong moveset would have gave you with the actual moveset either Charm or, like what I said before, Fairy Wind and Play Rough instead of the Flamethrower. Would have gave you a really good lead here, but like this, you also shouldn't throw this move. You should throw the Flamethrower. Flamethrower is single resisted. The Energy Ball is double resisted. Just in general here. We see here that the opponent goes into a Stunfisk. You go also here for the Flamethrower, which would be super effective while this is neutral. And you should also go into the Runerigus because you're going to be able to resist the Rock Slide, and you also would be able to go for the Sand Tomb. So yeah, this is definitely not how you're supposed to play, at least this team. But maybe I'm also going to play this team myself someday. because I think it's really good. But right now, like for me, it's very good that I can pre-produce some videos like this, as I'm currently on vacation when you're listening to it. So we can see here that they can go ahead and let this move go through. They can now go into their Runerigus and farm this thing down, have a shield advantage, and they're actually going to catch the move. At catching, you're really good, to be honest. Like, you know your counts at least, but like sometimes about the typings, I guess because it's also new Pokemon, you're a little bit off. And yeah, some plays are also a little bit off, but it is fine. It's early season. Things like feedback like this can help people definitely a lot, as we see the last Pokemon, which is going to be a Machamp. Okay, this Machamp definitely will not appreciate this. Also, cool thing about this Pokemon again, resist all the moves by Machamp, like literally all of them other than Payback, of course, but other than the Kaiwei, which still gets neutral damage from the Rock Slide, you also resist the Rock Slide here. I really enjoy the Runerigus so far in terms of what it can do in the meta. I think it's going to be one of the best Pokemon that you can actually play. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this going very far in the upcoming regionals. So we see here, Shadow Ball coming through against this Nidoqueen. Fine for you, you can farm it down now. And you can see that they're going into an Altaria again, which you go for one Shadow Ball, do some nice damage, and you get farmed down here. Again, if you had Charm, if you had the Play Rough, you would have been in a good spot here. But I guess you're going to try to go for your Energy Balls again, which are double resisted instead of single. No, okay, they swap out into the Medicham. Should have swapped out immediately, or most likely. You go for the damage, you get the shield, you get the debuff, that's pretty nice, but you should swap out eventually into your Runerigus, or you're just gonna keep everything here. They go for the Power Punch, you go for another move. Okay, at this point I think it's okay again. You try to get the final shields by the opponent, which is very good here at least. Here it worked out in this scenario, but again, if you just went immediately into your ghost type, I think you would have been fine as well. You get the defense drop here, which is kind of annoying. So you go for the Shadow Ball, which I think it wasn't necessary, to be honest, but I think it's also safe anyway because you still have a shield left. So why not? And this will KO the opposing Altaria, and that's going to be a good game. But we see the next game, we're going to see a Bastion against you in the lead. You should swap out immediately into your Kaiwei, by the way. You stay in here for a little bit. I mean, getting some damage on this might help you with a secondary matchup, but you get the defense drop anyway. You should swap out here. You have an ABB line. You need your Slurpuff. As they go for one Flamethrower, which is also not the move that you should throw. You should throw the Stone Edge, which is Stab, and a little bit of a better move. But you're gonna do some nice damage here, but again, you should have swapped out already. Like, you have nothing for Dark types now in the back. Imagine there's an obstacle, what do you want to do? So, here, you definitely need to go. Also, again, in the Runerigus would be better. You resist the fast moves. You have the better fast charge move to throw against it. So, you really don't like to go into your Runerigus for whatever reason. But I guess like this is something you should definitely learn there. I guess maybe it's type matchup. Maybe you're just not common, like you knowing this thing too often. Well, I don't know, like it's just like a new Pokemon for you. I don't know. But yeah, you should have went into the Runerigus here definitely. As we see the Wigglytuff now in the back. And this is of course tough because this is a core breaker for the back team of the team. But if you would have kept your lead, you would have been still fine because you still would have had something to do with this. So yeah, I kinda... Of course, like Wigglytuff is a problem. Wigglytuff is a rare Pokemon to face, at least in my elo range usually. But especially not with a bubble version of Poliwrath that goes for Power Punch. But in general, definitely also a little bit of a misplay again, as we see a Stunfisk there. They wanted to swap out immediately, but had some lag. This is something that I cannot blame on the player itself. But here we see them going for the Rock Slide. I mean, getting baited, it's also fine. You see a lot of frame drops in general, which kind of hurts the player itself, as they go for one Shadow Ball here again. Letting this move go through, which is going to be another Rock Slide. Good call there. Earthquake would have done a lot of damage, maybe even KO'd at this point already. Because the Kaiwei doesn't have good IVs here on this part. But you can let this move go through as well, which is going to be another Rock Slide, and you can farm this thing down in time. Winning back switch advantage, and also we see a Confusion user coming in, which is most likely a Hypno. It is a Hypno, and you can go into your Runerigus, and you have a very good time here at least, and we see another Psychic type in the back, and this is going to be a good game. There's nothing that the opponent can do here anymore. Shadow Ball will KO after some Shadow Claws, and the next one will also KO. But yeah, there was a lot of things that you would be able to improve definitely in your gameplay. The advice that I gave you in the video should help you hopefully a little bit. This is going to be it for the video. Thanks for watching. See you next video. Have a great rest of your day. And still, thanks for giving us those battles to watch. It's, I think, also really good for a lot of viewers to learn a little bit more about the game.